perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match, where we talk about the lovely show, Married at First Sight. I'm Aysha, and as always, I'm here with Jason. Jason, how are you?
I'm good, Aysha. 1992 Honda Odyssey here. How about you? I know you probably drive a Mercedes. You probably drive an Audi too, don't you?
I do.
How many of them? Oh, you do. Now, how many of them do you have? Is the next question.
I only have one Audi. Okay, it's not a A4. It's a
Something
Q5.
Better? Oh, I don't know cars. So you know if that's better.
No, it's the SUV, not the Q3, which is the
she got the SUV off.
I have to have room for my
for
dog.
the kids. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, for the
they
kids.
have car seats, like legit. When I have friends, they get in my car. I'm like, wait. You know, if you have kids, you got to move the car seat. I got to move their little car seats to the trunk.
I am not surprised whatsoever. Not at all.
So yes, if you must know.
I think we could all figure it out.
You got me with that one. I mean, I wasn't prepared, but you got me. We are here to talk about episode 3. If you could believe it, we're already here at episode 3. I feel like time's flying. It feels like the season just started. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we have finally made it through all of the weddings. So we were here to break it all down. And make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can find all of our podcasts about Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, Perfect Match, the show, The Ultimatum. You can get all of that content on the Love at First Sight feed. And so make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Reviews or on Spotify. And we'll shout you out. This week, we want to shout out a couple. We have one from Podsicle. It says, download After Love. I didn't know how much I needed to download after MAFS and Love is Blind until I found this show. I am the only one of my friends who gets sucked into these shows, and I'm usually watching weeks to months behind the rest of the world. I love having Aysha and Jason to talk to after an episode. I'm over here saying yes, and that's what I'm saying out loud in my apartment. Thanks for a great show.
I mean, they're probably saying yes. That's what I'm saying about the stuff that I say, mostly, probably, right?
I doubt it, but
okay, yeah. Let us know.
Neither here nor there.
Let us know, Podsicle. Let us know. Yeah. The one that I want to do is from CF528. It's entitled Love It. It says, I primarily watch the show each week so I can listen to this podcast. I really enjoy it. Jason, has anyone ever told you that your voice is reminiscent of Eddie Murphy as Mushu in Mulan? Did I hear someone ask for a miracle?
That's in the review.
That's in the review, and apparently
you weren't going off script.
It's a line of Mushu from Mulan. It's been probably about 20-ish years since I've seen Mulan, so I'll just take your word for it. That's in there.
Yeah. And also, so yes, thank you for those 2 reviews. And if you want to get shouted out, if you want to get a shout out on the podcast, just like that, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and we'll surely shout you out. We have a whole season to do it, but do it early on so we know that y'all are liking it, because you don't want us to just be like, it's episode 4, people aren't liking the podcast, we're done.
Yeah, we gotta know.
We're gonna hang it up. We're gonna walk away from the altar. Make sure also another fun place that we are. We have a nice little community is over on our Facebook group. It's called A Perfect Match Podcast. If you search that in Facebook, you will find us. We have a great community of 600 plus people in there talking about the show, talking about the episodes as they happen. We have a lot of fun in there. We have a lot of fun. Last week, I said, hey, let's kick it off. Let's post these dogs. Did you see how many comments we got?
We turned into a puppy pageant like Facebook group. I was like, oh my gosh. This is what. Here's the thing about the Facebook group. Okay, everyone comes in. They enjoy talking about Married at First Sight, in the Facebook group. Let any dog content come up. Let Asia post a dog picture. The most likes and comments you've ever seen on any of our posts all come from dog pictures and dog posts. Okay. Like, I'm like, what are we turning this into now? It's just a showcase for dogs at this point. And I was accused of not liking dogs. I like dogs. I just at the level of y'all. Okay. Well, this. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even gonna criticize.
That was my cousin, by the way. She was trying to call you out.
Who? Oh, that's it.
The one was like, "Oh, Jason, you don't like dogs."
I think the whole Facebook group is populated with people with all your family members or something.
Yeah, we ended up getting 92 comments on that, plus additional posts with more dogs.
Never got anything like that for any mass content in our mass Facebook group. It's all about the dogs.
In the off season, we're gonna convert it to a dog Facebook group.
We'll probably get more members. We'll be up to 2,000 by the time we start the next season. Only half based on dog content. When we started back, I was like, "What are they talking about?
What is Married at First Sight?" Yeah, I joined this because I love dogs.
Yeah. I come from my multi-poo content only.
Yeah. The dog content was great. Y'all have some such adorable dogs out there. I'm pretty sure I hearted every post because they were just so cute. So thank y'all for sharing.
And I posted my salty gifts to anywhere I could.
Yeah, we even had a cat up here.
Yeah, we had a cat.
There was a cat.
Like a cat's need on the prize. Like I am more of a cat person than a dog person. So I welcome. Listen, this last week dogs. This week cats. Bring a cat, people.
You got to kick it off. You got to start the post.
I'll put one in memoriam of my little furry guy.
Yes,
that I had back in the day. I'll kick it off.
RIP to a real one.
To a real one, my furry guy. But I'll start that up this week so we can some of the cat people can chime in.
Okay, I'll post my brother's cat.
We'll do that this week.
just so I'm a part of it.
Just so you can be included. Yeah.
Yeah. But if y'all want in on that fun, you got to go join the Facebook group. And this week the password is.
Actually, suggested by Victoria Patrice in the Facebook group. Before I could even think of it, she gave me a banger one. It is nut to butt, said by Becca in the episode when they're taking the wedding pictures. So I thought that was a perfect suggestion for what the Facebook password should be this week. So nut to butt it is.
Yes. So make sure you go put it in that Facebook password, and we'll let you in. And make sure you agree to the group rules. So yeah. Let's dive into this episode. Let's talk about episode 3.
Excuse me. I have to take some exception.
Excuse me. Who are you? Who's this?
I am the real mystery woman X who did not marry Michael.
Well, first of all, how did you get this password for this meeting?
Don't worry about that.
Second of all,
link.
Yeah, who sent you the link?
Don't worry about that. I did not appreciate how you portrayed me last week. How dare you think that I would be a fan of Jason on this podcast? I am clearly a fan of Aysha, and I'm clearly a good. I have to go. Take me out of this. You will be talking to my lawyers. I have to go.
Where did the mysterious accent come from?
I have to go.
You sound very familiar, Mystery Woman X. Oh, she's gone. She's gone.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was weird. How were they able to just pop in on us like that?
I know, that was really odd. We gotta talk.
We got a lot of security.
Yeah, down. we need a password for.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Sam, the production manager for RHAP, and figure out how people are getting our StreamYard access.
Yes.
What type of ship are we running around here when people just bombard us in our own podcast?
I won't stand for it. So I've had it up to here.
And the real Mystery Woman X, as if we didn't have the real Mystery Woman X on our podcast last week.
I know. Now I'm starting to feel like we're being catfished.
Yeah, which one was the real Mystery Woman X?
The only consistent person here right now is me. So.
I mean, I had to take care of something last week when the real Mystery
Woman you were upstairs. You were not in your basement. I know. I'm aware. Yeah.
Was in my podcast dungeon. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So that's weird. That's something we do need to discuss after podcast. However, we do have a fun guest this week to talk about episode 3. One of our favorite guests of the pod. Someone who always comes in and has such wonderful opinions.
Well, I mean, listen. Typically, they agree with you, so I see how you can say that.
They might disagree with me this week. I don't know.
I think she enjoys butting heads with me, so probably not. Why don't we go ahead and bring her on in here?
All right.
I'll get my protective gear on, and I'll get ready to be roasted by our guest.
Okay, so we're welcome, Mari Forth. Mari, how are you?
Mari,
Hi,
did you
Asia.
hear that?
Hi,
Did you hear what just
Jason.
happened? Did you hear what just happened over here?
No.
Someone barged into our podcast room.
No, I just got here. I'm so happy to podcast with both of you.
Yeah, you were running a little late, so that's why we went ahead and got started. Yeah.
I mean, Mari,
Exactly.
you didn't
Okay.
share your link with anyone, did you, to get into the podcast?
No, I don't think so. Does tweeting the link out count as sharing it?
Imagine.
That might explain some things. That might explain some things, Mari.
Did something happen?
You're
we gotta keep this thing under lock and key, Mari. We can't
Okay,
just
I'm
let
sorry.
everybody
That
come
was
in
my
here.
fault. All right,
Yeah.
my bad. But yeah, I'm glad to be here for episode 3. Yes, things are happening.
They are.
I'm always here to agree with Asia, and I
Yeah.
mean, I'm ready to dive into it, to get into these couples.
Mari, you've even taken to roasting me in the YouTube comments. I do go on the YouTube and check the comments from time to time on the episode, and here I see a YouTube comment from someone. What's your YouTube? Mari, it's Mari for something. I was like, what the hell? Talking about I hate love. Like, what are you talking about?
It is somewhat of a pastime for me. I do love catching up with the show and just utterly disagreeing with you, Jason. So you
It's
can
almost
do it too if you're in
fun.
the Facebook. Yeah, everybody join the Facebook, because I took a shot at him over there as well. So it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun and it's fine.
I gotta find someone that agrees with me to come on this show. I really do. I'm gonna get Isaiah to start watching Married at First Sight, so you come on here and team up against Asia.
Please do not. I cannot handle an Isaiah take on Married at First Sight.
Oh God.
No offense to the wonderful Isaiah, 8-ball bangers. But yeah, so I guess first impression, Mari, like with the season as a whole, like have you been enjoying it so far? Or are you still on the fence trying to see where it goes?
No, I actually been I'm not on the fence. I enjoy it. I think like you guys said, I wasn't really expecting much when I first saw this cast, but I am really liking how it feels like we've gotten different characters than we have in the previous seasons. Like I was feeling like in the previous seasons we were kind of doing like cookie cutter casting, like we need this couple, we need this couple, we need this person who's like this, what I'm saying? It could feel very like cut and paste. Like Mac was kind of like what was Lindsay's dude's name? Mark. Yeah, Mac and Mark kind of were the same archetype. Like I felt like we kept getting like archetypes, and this season kind of feels like we are getting people like a little bit different. I did agree with like some of Jason's comparisons, but I still feel like this
right
cast
down the date and time. She agreed with something with me. Oh my gosh.
Because it'll be the last time. But like I think some of these characters do feel a little bit fresh and different in comparison to like literally the last 3 seasons. I was like, this feels almost like copy and paste. We need 2 black couples. We need this couple. We need, what I'm saying? Like it. Yeah. So I'm liking the cast so far. The Michael situation I think is interesting. It took me a minute to realize that they weren't hiding the fact that there was a runaway bride. Like the trailers from the beginning of the season, and they were like, oh, Michael doing the thing with nobody standing there, just getting his side of everything, and you're sitting here like, why are y'all spoiling the like main attraction, which is her running away? But I don't think they are. The main attraction is we found him another one. We don't want you guys to know we found him another. There's another bride coming, and we don't want you to know who the other bride is. So once I started looking at it like that, I was like, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
I think that's
you
being
know,
pretty kind to the show. I like I've said,
yeah,
I think they fumbled the bag by not hiding this. This
yeah.
whole runaway bride thing. I think it would have
Yeah.
garnered so much more attention if they had shocked us in the first episode. But they need to draw people to the show, so I understand from that standpoint of it.
It
Yeah.
drew me in when I was like, because it's been 3 months, and I was like, what's going on? And but then they were like, there's a runaway bride this season. I was like, oh, I gotta see that. But I think the execution is just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm also of the ilk with people who think that the actual her going to the altar
Mhm.
was staged. I think that part was staged as well. Like I think Asia, you said it last week.
Yeah.
I think she said she wasn't going out there way before and I think they reshot it without him having the crown and the sword, just to have like an actress come out there and give that choppy AI audio over it.
You're
So
such a nice guy.
I
Yeah.
can't marry a stranger.
yeah.
I
You're
have
So
to
so
go now.
kind.
I have
You're
to go
so
now.
kind.
Goodbye.
But I don't know. I don't know if you guys do spoilers, but I think that's what they were really trying to hide. I think they're trying to be like, oh my God, you see this guy Michael, who we've showed you all of this. Did you fall in love with him?
Yeah.
Are you hoping he doesn't go away? You know what I'm saying? I think that's what they want. They want you to be rooting for him to find his second girl, and they don't want you to know, like, oh, matched with the second girl.
And that's such an interesting angle, because what they could have so easily done if they decided not show the runaway bride was keep us guessing. Someone says no, so then we're like, oh my gosh, which wedding is it? And then we like get down to the last 2 weddings and we're like, okay, it's one of these 2.
Well, I think they're pretty obvious since they're not showing the woman that
I know, that's what I said.
Michael
If they
up.
decided not to do that, if they decided to show her, it could have been a fun guessing game.
I still think it's some legality thing.
Yeah.
They're not able to show her.
Yeah, I think that I agree. I think it's definitely a legality thing as to not showing her. So now they're trying to make like lemons out of lemonade, and they're not quite hitting the mark. But I am invested in Michael, so maybe they did hit the mark. It's just not.
They showed us a lot of him. I want him to find love. I want him to be happy, but I also don't want him to have to settle.
Do you think they should, as a mea culpa to him, let him pick out of like 3 people?
Yeah.
Right.
We also have these 5 women who want to get married at first sight.
So we're gonna let you pick.
Take your pick.
Oh no.
Got stats. We got
we got
occupations.
The purpose. My biggest thing is like the timeline of it all now, because he's gonna be at least a few weeks behind the 8 ball with the other couple. So how is that going to affect their timeline? Like, will they be like, hey, we have this other girl and she's going to come in, but you guys have to agree to, like, instead of it being 8 weeks, you guys have 6 weeks, or you guys have 5 weeks. Like, how would that be? Like, that would be ridiculous.
Do they pivot and just say like, okay, we're going to treat him like a spinoff, and they don't even get married?
Does he like they like just date maybe, and then like
married at first sight, second chances? Yeah, he dates, or like the 2 people they had, Vanessa and I pulled that name out of
David, I think.
David, yes, that was years ago. But just have Michael date, and then we're interested in his story. Like, it's just a different story happening. But if they try to merge him into the dynamic's going to be weird.
Right.
I think it would be weird if they stagger it. Like, hey, while the couples are getting to know each other in week 3, here's Michael's wedding and honeymoon. I think that would be really weird and a little off balance. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how they handle it. I mean, listen, we could all be in for a shock, and Michael be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm out. Bye," and we don't see him anymore this season.
Too soon.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how they do it. I don't have a lot of faith that they're gonna do it in a good way, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And real quick, as an update from last week, someone in the YouTube comments reminded me that it was called Fanny Doodle, was the segment on Zoom, the show that was also, it was in the 70s, and then it was rebooted in the 90s. And so Fanny Doodle, I can't even remember why we were talking about this, but Fanny Doodle is like, Fanny Doodle loves wheels but doesn't like circles. And I was always like, why? Or Fanny Doodle loves pools but doesn't like to swim.
Questions that need answers.
They were fun games. I don't remember.
Do you remember what I said the answer was?
No, I don't remember.
It's the double letters.
Thank you
Wheels,
for that very
pools.
Thank you for that very important update, Aysha. We all appreciate it.
She wasn't crazy. It was a thing. Zoom was a thing.
Never said it wasn't a thing.
Didn't know about it. That's all that matters.
I never said it wasn't a thing. I said I think Aysha probably does not realize we have an age gap where it would probably I probably have been too old for it at the time Aysha was watching it.
You were only like 7 years older than me.
That's important. That's an important 7 years.
A lifetime.
We're in the same
generation.
Yeah, you're a millennial.
I'm an elder millennial. I mean, I am. That's what I'm classified as, an elder millennial.
Yeah,
And look at me, just smack dab in the middle, and I knew it.
Look at us, peers.
Yeah.
Mari was like our reviewer. They were like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
So let's go ahead and talk about our first couple. We're gonna go ahead and talk about Lauren and Orion.
We're gonna get the fighting started real early, huh? Okay.
Right off the bat.
Here we go.
Put the gloves on right now.
All right, get ready. Because apparently, y'all, Jason pre-show, he has opinions. So I'm curious to see what those are.
That's my job.
So we're at the reception now for Lauren and Orion, and he tells her that his first impression of her was he was floored. Because he thought she was beautiful. They do their first dance or slow dancing, and she asked God for someone that she could slow dance in the kitchen with, and so she was just getting those vibes. He tells her like he's a good dancer because his mom was a Zumba instructor, and he's a grass dancer, and so he explains what that is.
How does Zumba instructing inform you how to dance?
Well, you can't have no rhythm to be a Zumba instructor.
I guess I was just like, that's a weird comparison to make. It's a weird thing to make it so you're a good dancer.
When was your last Zumba class?
When was it popular? What, 2008? That was the last time I went to a Zumba class.
They still do Zumba classes, free Zumba classes for us at this place near me.
Is there anybody there?
Weekly. From the looks of Instagram,
I went
to
a Zumba class in 2014 when I was like trying to get out and stuff, and I got to the class and I was the only person there. So
there you go.
So the instructor was like, okay, this is going to be a boot camp instead. Like boot camp. He had me like running, push ups. Exactly. I was like, I did not sign up for this. And then he was like, okay, that was great. I'll see you next time. I was like, yep. Never again. Never.
Next thing you're going to tell me you're going to know how you know how to kickbox and you did Tai Bo.
Like, I came here to like dance and exercise. You over here telling me to do 27 push-ups. I can't do that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would have been mad.
I was so mad.
It's not what you signed up for.
I honestly don't know why I did.
Yeah.
I don't have anywhere better to be.
Right. I'm not coming here to exercise. I came here to dance, okay?
Right.
So also while they were dancing, speaking of dancing, he asked her about her first impression. She said she's happy he's tall. She points out she's never dated outside of her race, though. He's like, interesting. I've never dated inside of my race. Jason, did you watch After Party this week?
I did.
Okay.
I did too.
Feel free to chime in if there's anything additional from After Party.
The After Party this week was pretty dry, to be honest.
Okay.
There wasn't much going on. Mari, did you clock anything?
Yeah, no, they were just hyping up Austin. Really, they were hyping up Austin and Becca's connection.
Okay.
Rudy, Keisha, Rudy did ask Lauren about the mom comment. She's like, can you please explain that to me a little bit further? And I felt like I got it when I saw it in the show.
Yeah.
Probably Jason didn't. He's probably gonna say something. But she was saying like when she said he gave her mom vibes, she's talking about her mom specifically. Like she could feel her mom being channeled through him because he was giving her a sense of security, that and a feeling of like peace and at ease. like her mom gives her.
We'll get Jason's take when we
Yeah.
So they're eating at the reception. And he's like, every time I look up, somebody's staring at me. It's like, yeah, you're the center of attention right now. And then so she said that her dad's reaction to this whole thing was like, that's strange. She finally shares with him that like her mom passed last April. She feels like she's missing her therapist. Like, yeah, it's great to have her dad, but it's just different because they had like different like vibes with her, parenting styles with her, different ways they support her. And so we learned that he's finishing. He's like, this is something I'm a little nervous to share, which I got nervous. And he said he's finishing his real estate license. And so right now he is living with his mom. And she's like, okay, well, I'm not worried about that as long as you were being smart with that time. And it's not just like you're living with your mom, not doing anything. What is his face, Jason?
I know.
What do you mean?
What? Who, me? I got something to say. I got something to say a little later. I got something to say a little later when we get more deep into it. But I'm side eyeing a little bit. I am side eyeing a little bit.
Well,
to this part, like wait,
to a lot of it, to a bunch of Orion this episode.
Oh, a bunch of Orion. Okay.
Yeah, Orion.
Yeah, yes. I'll see what Jason says, but yeah, I did feel like I learned more about Orion here, because I don't watch the matchmaking specials. I can't do that. I don't like it.
I just physically cannot.
Yeah, exactly.
My TV won't turn on to the channel at the time.
I'm trying.
How dare you try and get me hyped for something that comes out in 2 weeks? Like, no, I can't do it.
Asia's TV doesn't show colors. Mine doesn't show matchmaking specials.
So I did. There were a few things I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know these things for him, but I thought Lauren was doing a very good job of being like, okay, like I'll roll with the punches.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
So well, see, Jason takes it as that's probably fake, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Until he talks, all we're gonna do is talk for him. So I hope
this guy exaggerates anything, any reaction that Lauren has.
Who, me? Are you pointing at me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
You. Yeah, you. And I see it as like they're clearly awkward. Like they're awkward. They're two awkward people. They're two Sagittariuses, which I checked the compatibility on. That is actually a great compatibility match. It says like they're very passionate, like lovers, and I think the biggest thing I gotta pull it up again, but I think they said the biggest thing against Sagittarius matches is communication can be difficult if they shut down or if they need their own space and stuff like that. Like Sagittariuses are notorious for needing their own space sometimes. So I just felt like there are two awkward people, but the willingness to like try and make this work I thought was very palpable from both of them at the time. Now, we didn't get any Orion confessionals during the wedding. So I was trying to remember the last time that happened, because I want to say, was that Eris? Was it Eris who kept getting all the confessionals at their wedding? They've done this before, where just literally we just get one person's point of view throughout the whole wedding, and that's what I felt like we were getting throughout this whole wedding. It was like every time something was happening, we go to a Lauren confessional, and she'd be like, "No, yeah, it's okay. Like there's something about him. He's so calming. He's everything I want on paper." And I will give it to Jason right here when she would say on paper, he is everything that I want. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it was on paper he's everything I want. I feel like it's all
about the tone.
I feel like it was on paper, he's everything that I want. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it was a very like optimistic. So throughout this night, I was definitely very optimistic. And then there were a couple speed bumps. But I still think, they're good. The next time on, but that aside, we're not talking about the next time on right now. We're talking about this episode.
We're talking about this time on.
This time on, yes. I thought they both seemed very, very willing and very, very, very into each other, but very like, that they're gonna need like that barrier to be broken, which I was like, I wish we got the bedding part. No, I feel like normally we get the beddings like on this night, but we didn't get those like to see like what the vibes are. So we'll have to wait to the beginning of next episode to
Say
see
the
that.
bedding.
I know. I was like, is
That's
that
what it is. That's what you gotta call it.
When he beds his wife when they
They
bed
put
each
him
other.
the bed. That part. They the bedding.
I was like,
We see
I
the
think
bedding.
she's saying when they go to bed.
Mhm.
Context clues.
Wow. Really? Like,
bedding.
the bedding. Okay, sorry, but that's just my historical fiction
Yeah.
poking out there because that's what the first night, the
What are you
bedding.
watching Outlander?
Yeah, like Game of Thrones. Anyways, yes. So I'll give it. It wasn't like love at first sight, sparks, blah blah blah. But I think it was like so much potential within the match.
Yeah.
For me.
So we did get to like a montage of speeches for all the different episodes or all the different couples.
I love this, by the way. I
So cute.
loved how fast they ran through the weddings. Because in previous seasons we would get full toast that lasts like 5 minutes, but we got little bits and pieces of toast of all the weddings real quick.
The
So
cakes,
I'm
the pictures.
I'm happy with how fast we're moving through the weddings this season. You know, I didn't look in the past or anything, but I feel like I don't know when we're usually done with weddings, but it feels like it's episode 4 when we're usually done with weddings. So the fact that we're done with weddings now, I'm happy with. I'm glad at the speed they're running through it. It might only be because we have 4 weddings, but I liked the organization of how they put it all together.
Okay. Yeah, last season we were done with weddings at the end of episode 3. Episode 4 kicked off with the beddings.
The beddings. But it felt so much faster this season.
Yeah, because I normally come on like episode 5 or 6 and they're on the honeymoon or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm looking at all this historical data, made me lose my place. The only the only call out for Lauren and Orion was it Lauren's side of the family saying Orion?
I think that was her friend or something giving the toast.
Her friend, okay.
Giving the toast. And I love that part. She's like leaning on him and she's like, it's Orion. It's like, yes, you better
get a man's name right.
Yes. Keep my wife's name. Like, it was really good. Like this was all like the uphill part of their way.
So then they do like a dance. They're doing dancing with like the with drums. Yeah, like the it's like the indigenous culture type of dance. She really liked it. She said it was so beautiful to see like the commingling of her family or of their families, because her family was taking part in it too. And so then we get the time where they are talking to each other's sides, right? So she's talking to his friends. They tell her that his nickname is Onion. I wonder where that came from.
So weird, because he has so many layers, I guess.
Right. I mean, in Orion, without the
It's
R,
like
you add the
onion,
N, is Onion.
Weird.
Maybe, you know what it probably was? He spelled his name or something at Starbucks, and then on the cup it looks like Onion.
Caramel macchiato for Onion.
Literally.
Exactly. Right.
She tells them that like her biggest red flag could be like her needing too much validation. And she says that like right now she is presenting her best self. Like she is at her best self right now getting married. Any thoughts on her talking with his friends, Jason?
I mean, it's good that she can call out her red flags. Usually, I feel like a lot of people would be like, "No red flags here. I'm pretty good. I know myself, and I've done a lot of work on myself." She's like, "Nah, I got issues. I need some validation." So just so y'all know.
And to me, I don't think that's necessarily an issue. It's just her love language or words of affirmation. So just make sure your new partner, who is a stranger, knows that that's how you like your words of affirmation. You like your love language. And I think even without knowing it, Orion has done a pretty good job so far. Like as soon as she got to the altar, he said she was gorgeous. He said something. He said,
I think.
Yes, I was like, oh, like he was into it. And so I like that she is like, yeah, this is what I need. And I think again he felt really reserved here. I was really thinking to myself, like, somebody give that man a few drinks. Like, where is Orion from the bachelor party? Because I think that guy would really be clicking right now with her.
Yeah, I mean, he acts like he just, I don't know, married someone he didn't know. Like, as far as like, I feel like I would be like Orion if I was in this situation. I'd be like, because I don't do good around strangers. So I'm just like, I would be quiet. I would be like, reserved. I would be Orion in this situation. So I can't blame him too much for this, for being so a little standoffish in a way. Because, there's this moment where they're taking the pictures and like the dad, because he tries to like give him space, walk away. She's like, don't run away from my daddy now. like, oh, sorry. So yeah, that would be me. I'd be like, I don't want to crowd anyone. I don't want to be all up in anyone's space. I don't want to talk to people. That would be me. So I can't really blame him, a lot for doing for being a little awkward and standoffish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got his sit down with her dad. So look, her dad said, look, when I came into that, said, you need to just make sure that he has a toolbox. And when I heard you know how to fix things, I was like, okay, we're good.
There was a lot of emphasis on that toolbox in his wedding.
Yeah.
What is she breaking over there?
Are they going to have to put together a dresser and he is unable?
that honestly should be an exercise. That should be an exercise from the experts.
Sure. Put together a piece of furniture.
And how long does it take you?
Yeah. Literally,
how many arguments can you get in before the dresser's put together?
Literally, me and my old roommate had to put together my bed frame, and it tests you.
I love putting things together.
So.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah. So Orion shares that he's licensed to practice real estate and electric stuff in New York. Mind you, they're in Denver.
Strike one.
No,
how is that a strike one?
I got
strike one. Keep going.
Why is this the first time? Is this the first time we hear about New York? I'm sorry. Keep going.
That's the first time we are. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
That's
what through this conversation.
Not if you're gonna be like this.
Keep going.
Come on,
you're playing the game. Come
on. And so then her dad is like, well, do you see like being in Colorado for the long term? And he's like, well, I don't see Colorado as like my permanent place of residence.
Strike two. Next. Come on.
What is this dislike that you have?
Keep going.
We have some questions, Asia. We just have some
questions. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll discuss it.
Finish up, Dad.
So the dad is concerned the way that he said this because he's like, in no part of what you just said, you were including my daughter in part of this decision-making process. Like, are you going to consider her in these decisions to make, a move like that? And he's like, of course. And so then her dad says, okay, so what are your expectations? He's like, well, like I grew up in a matriarch. And so women ran the show, like in my culture. And I don't like being bossed around. So that's why I don't typically date someone in my culture.
Strike three, you're out. You're done.
I just need
listen.
I don't understand.
Well, this was his clarification. He said the reason he says that is he wants, in his relationship, he wants balance. He wants that mutual respect. Mm-hmm. Whereas like you have in typical, like, I guess, Western culture, modern society is the patriarchy. Mm-hmm. We have Orion here talking about the matriarchy. Mm-hmm. And what he's saying is he wants it balanced.
Okay. So here's the issue with Orion. It was about the delivery, right? you bombed as hard as you can bomb with a parent here by saying things the way that you said them. Mm-hmm. And he's, okay, here we go. Who else do we know that had roots in another city when he's getting married in this city? Who else do we know that wants to move around everywhere, that wants to go to different places? Who else do we know?
In what way is he like family? Mac?
In the ways I just described.
My note says, is this a Mac situation? Literally.
In the ways I just described, Asia. Has roots in other cities.
I was baffled. I was like,
living with family, not connected to the community.
Well,
I questioned whether or not he just moved back here to Colorado in order to do the show. Like we were
to
questioning
San Diego.
Yeah, like we were questioning Mac last season whether or not he moved to Nashville to do the show.
So he has no connections to the community.
Well, his mom lives there. Like he's from there. That's where he's from.
He is
but
from
it
there.
felt it felt like he was like in New York doing his own thing. And he's like, well, let me move to Colorado real quick because I hear there's a married at first sight opportunity because he lives with his mama and he's licensed only in New York for electrical work and real estate, not in Colorado, only in New York.
And there's no work being done for him to be licensed in Colorado. Yes,
but
there is.
It's just, it's just weird that he's not licensed there. So that tells me
that's what he said. He's
taking
classes.
Right, but that tells me he hasn't been there for it felt like he was just fresh from New York where he was doing his work.
I can't make that extreme judgment because it's not like, oh, he has moved here 2 months ago. He just started classes.
That's what it felt like.
No.
Is that not what it felt like to you, Mari?
I just know I was gobsmacked because I was like, where did New York come from? I had not heard this man say anything about New York. I did not know he wanted to go back. I agree with Justin. It's like Justin.
Who?
I apologize. I agree with Jason because I'm like, we've seen this before. So I'm a little guarded, just like I'm a little guarded because people, not necessarily having roots in the city that they're in, that can be scary. But I also think the reason why I'm not willing to jump out the window is we don't know what Lauren's thought process would be to wanting to move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is Dad's point of view. Dad is like, I don't want you taking my daughter away from her city. She could be just fine with moving. The way that Orion presented it was the problem. The way Orion, what do you say, Mark?
I said, is Lauren even from born and raised in Colorado? The only person I guess I know who was born and raised in Colorado is Austin.
Born and bred Colorado. Austin. We don't know that for sure,
right?
But that's what it felt like. It was like, you're gonna take my baby girl away from me, and the way that Orion presented it was a problem. Where he where he's just like, I just want to go here and there and whatever. And I think the implication for Orion was like, of course, with my wife, I wouldn't do anything without her say so. But he didn't say that explicitly to her dad. So her dad's like, well, what I'm hearing is that you're not considering my daughter at all. You're just going to be doing whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go without her consent or whatever. So I think
I just feel like there's no benefit of the doubt being given here, Jason. You're acting like they've been in a 5-year relationship and he has learned about this woman, learned about how to consider her in all of his decision making, and now they're getting married, and now he's just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to move here.
No,
they did not know each other before today.
Aysha, I'm not even blaming Orion. I think that Lauren's dad took it the wrong way.
He took
because the implication from Orion was that he was going to do all this with Lauren's agreement, consent. I think that was the implication by Orion. I think Lauren's dad, like a lot of dads probably would or may do, is looking at it from his daughter's perspective, and if he doesn't hear anything about his daughter in these plans, that's going to get him questioning and wondering.
And for After Party Asia, Lauren, they show that clip again, and Lauren reacted to it, and she was just like, she even said, she's like, he has a long way to go to impressing my dad, but she said, but my dad is just like that. He's really hard like that. She said, I probably just earned his respect, and I'm her. She said, and I'm his daughter. So she's like, strict. And that's what she said. And Rudy's like, my dad would have been way worse, so it's okay. So even Lauren was just kind of like, and then she goes on to talk about how close she is to her mom. So they don't tell us what her parents' marriage status was before her mom passed away, but something just really tells me she's way closer to her mom than her dad. So her dad could be questioning Orion on things that he don't even know about her. Like, again, Orion can say, Lauren, would you want to be bi-coastal? Even though Denver's not on coast, and Lauren would be like, sure, So I agree with Jason. It was just like, it was like it was like one of those stumbling blocks, but I don't feel like it was malicious on Orion's side. I don't think Orion did anything outright wrong.
I think when he's like, I don't like to be bossed
very
around, I was like,
he was really nervous. I think he
like,
was
that was
like
a bad way.
really nervous too. Like,
Yeah,
the
he's like, I
whole
don't like
time.
to be bossed around. I was thinking, like, am I an indigenous person? Because I feel like I get bossed around a lot. I feel like I'm in a matriarchy around here in my household. Like,
in your own home.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it was
I just feel like
the
if
phrasing was
any,
bad.
yes, I feel like obviously this interaction wasn't the best, right? Obviously, we see her dad is concerned, and we see that he did not make a good first impression. But if anything, I see it as a ball rather than a strikeout.
Boy, Asia, you really got those rose-colored glasses strapped on tight. Where's
No,
your
I'm
cape?
not.
Where's your cape?
I
Did I
agree
just
with
hear what
that,
I
though.
just
I
said?
agree with that.
I didn't say he
Like a
handled that
foul.
perfectly. I didn't say that he made a great first impression. I didn't say
Yellow card, not a red card.
No,
yes.
I thought it was
Look at
just three things in a row that was like, oop, oop,
A
you
field
said
goal,
the
not
wrong
a
thing.
touchdown.
Yeah, okay, I feel goal, not a touchdown. More like
So
a sack fumble in my mind.
Jesus, Jason.
right. Good Lord. So he did get his undergrad degree in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it doesn't.
Where are you finding this at?
Where do you think I would
LinkedIn.
find information like that?
LinkedIn? Okay.
Yes.
You
And
stalking
so,
this man now?
well, I'm trying to get some data because we're just guessing here. How long has he been in Colorado?
Just trying to
Can
find
I
anything to
just say,
support your
Jason
thesis.
overdid it with the friend Dominic. I didn't even realize. I couldn't even tell who friend Dominic was this
Thank
episode.
you. Me
Asia
neither.
overdid it with her criticism of what I was saying. I wasn't even saying anything that serious, and Asia took it the wrong way,
homie.
as she
You
has
overdid
with everything I said about Lauren and Orion.
You overdid it.
Nah.
I don't think
Yeah, I agree, Mari.
so. Of course. Yeah, of course. You do. I'm just over here enjoying my roasting. It's fine.
But look, okay, yes, obviously he did not make a good first impression here, and so he's going to have an uphill climb in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you say like the delivery, Jason, I get what you're saying, because it's like it's not like what he's saying is wrong. Who likes to be like, you know,
Just the phrase, I don't like to be bossed around. I don't think you should be using those words in that tone when you're talking to
like in that
a parent
context
about their child. Like to a parent about someone that just married your child, I think is not a great context.
And we know Married at First Sight. This is a bit of a longer conversation. And so, anywho, I just feel like, yeah, like you said, Lauren is probably A-okay with moving, especially if she's born and raised there. She is probably A-okay with them starting a life wherever they want. She may not want to be there.
Well, we knew Dominique won't gonna be.
Yeah.
She was, because she was a Nashvilleian.
Yeah.
Sure.
At least Mac had a good sense to lie to people and tell them that he was staying there in Nashville no matter what.
Lying is never the option.
We're not patting Mac on the back for lying.
Right.
At least he had a good sense
Oh
Yeah.
my
to lie in his family's face.
So yeah, so he is going to, yes, that's going to be an interesting thing to follow if we do continue to see like him interacting with her dad. For all we know, this might be the last time we see her dad on the show.
I love when it was like, Dad was like, well, I mean, doesn't really matter because you married now.
Yeah.
He's like, gotta get my
Ryan's
approval.
like, well, I still want your approval.
Dad was like, we'll see about that. Like, this is basically what he said.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think it's going to be a learning curve for sure, with learning how to deal with each other's people, deal with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all that was. And understand, like, okay, the way I said that came off extremely wrong, or it didn't come off the way I intended. So let me clean that up a little bit, So she meets with her, she's meeting with her friends. And so this is the part where she says she's getting that mom energy from him. And he feels like a security blanket already for her. Like she finds herself looking for him already at the wedding. even he said right before this to his friends, he's like, I keep looking at her like, oh, I want to hang out. Like, let's hang out, like keep getting to know each other. And then we see they talk a little bit about like the first kiss. She's like, I was not ready for that. Like it was welcomed, but I wasn't expecting that. And we get a little bit of Orion saying like he doesn't want to go there on the first night, but they're like, what if she does? He's like, well, it might be a little hard, and I may just be like, okay. So what did you feel about this mom energy, Jason?
I think no matter what, when your significant other says they get a mom energy off of you, I don't think
it's not a mom energy. She gets
even
her
worse.
Mom.
Even worse. Even worse. I don't think that's good energy. I don't think that's a good statement.
To somebody like her, it's great energy. Her mom literally just passed away. She's looking for that.
It's definitely still an open wound here with her mom, because it's the topic of many a conversation in this whole episode. So
yeah, she goes on to say like how connected she feels to him. Like that's like that above physical spark and all that stuff like that. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
look, it's fine. It's
saying
nothing that I'm getting uptight about.
Good.
It's fine. Yeah.
You had such a reaction earlier.
It's just weird.
And then all of a sudden
it's
nothing.
No, it's a weird thing to say. It's weird. It really had me like
back down now.
And me going like, that's odd. But it's not something I'm be like, oh my god, she thinks of him as her mom. Like, I'm not saying that. I just like, no matter
what are you
that's
saying?
That's a weird thing to say. It's just weird to compare your significant other to your mom. But I feel like her mom is so in the forefront of her mind.
I feel like her saying right after the security blanket piece.
Yeah, it's
explains.
Fine. Y'all are taking my words again and twisting them and all that. It's
You're
fine.
saying them.
I just thought it was interesting thing to say. Be like, he reminds me of my mom.
And then again,
concept, it's weird.
I think it also shows how, again, she's not that close to her dad, because like how often do you have a woman be like, oh, he reminds me of my mom, not he reminds me of my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that was another clue to that part.
It just had me perk up like, oh, that's an interesting statement to say. but it's not something I'm
like to Mari's point, if she said he gives me dad energy.
I would have said that was weird
too. Women say that all the time though, that their husband reminds them of their dad.
Mine does.
I think that's weird. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
You're not explaining why you think it's weird.
I think if you say they remind me of my dad because I feel safe and secure with them, that's fine. But to compare your significant other to your parent, that's weird energy, weird behavior.
People do it all the time. There's so, but that's what I'm saying. You saying it's weird just gives people the freedom to make assumptions about why you're saying it's weird.
Okay, they can make all the assumptions they want. I don't care.
I see what you're going there, Asia. Yeah. We'll see. You know,
it's fine. H, I feel like anything I say about Lord Orion, you're ready to jump down.
No, because you want to disagree with me so bad about them.
I don't. I have my opinion.
You love it.
Opinion. I don't love them.
I know you don't love them.
We can't. Asia, let's not fight for Amari. Let's not fight for Amari, okay? Save her when Amari leaves. Save her when Amari goes to bed. We'll talk about this. She's asleep.
Well, okay, we end with them where she says that she truly feels like the universe gave her a very special person, and she feels like she was meant to marry him to.
Okay, Jason, you're back when you make faces like that in the middle of Asia.
It's just such interesting statements.
Like, listen, let me finish it.
Yeah, go ahead.
She said she feels like she was meant to get married at first sight to meet him. So that could be, no matter how this turns out, he is going to be an important person in my life. It could turn out great, or it could turn out with us getting divorced. It's day one. We don't know what's going to happen. All she knows is this person that she has just met is going to be important to her.
No, I agree with you. And I think that's like, this person's going to be a great friend to me after we both say no to on decision day. We're going to be in each other's lives forever. Like, I feel like throughout this whole thing, she never said anything that was overwhelmingly like, oh my God, we're going to be married forever. This is going to be great. Those things she said was like, oh, I'm so happy that I met this guy. I feel like I got married to him because just to meet him. So I feel that gives me energy of like, this guy, no matter if it works out or not, it might not work out, that we're going to be great friends. Again,
You're-
more friend energy.
Literally the only couple I think that was saying like long-term stuff, if that, was Becca and Austin. Claire and Cameron, Emily and Brennan were doing the same things. It's like Asia said, it's day one. Like,
Yeah.
bare minimum, she said, I'm attracted to him and I want to see where this goes. And then on top of that, like, oh, we have a connection. Oh, the universe sent him to me. She just sounds, she said, I'm very spiritual, and that's the type of language she wants to use. I don't think that anything that we saw from the wedding to me gave off like her being like friend vibes. I don't think at all. And we got a lot of her confessionals throughout the wedding. So I would definitely push back on that. I think the only couple this season that had who will be that immediate connection couple that that hit it off, they're the quote unquote boring couple of the season, is Becca and Austin. I think two other couples are in that, like, they are matched. They both seem into it, and it can go either way. And there's one couple where I'm like, nah, like, it's not happening. And that's not Lauren and Orion. So I think Jason is seeing what he wants to see here.
So here's my thing on Lauren and Orion. I didn't see anything that said this is not going to work from either of them. I see, like I said the other podcast, friend vibes right now, but that's not weird because they're strangers. They're awkward. It's meant to be awkward. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Where I push back on Asia is where I feel like Asia is saying
every point.
Like they are like she's giving them green. She's like, they're going to be together forever. I'm like, I don't see that yet. I see two strangers that just got married and they're acting like it. But that's not the vibe I'm getting from like a Becca and Austin or even a Cameron and Claire this episode.
You didn't get that from Cameron and Claire?
I got great vibes from Cameron and Claire. I got immaculate vibes from Becca and Austin. From Lauren and Orion, it's like, okay, they're two strangers that just met and got married. It's fine. It's fine to be awkward. I'm not saying that this is a doomed couple. I'm not saying this is a 0 on the scale. None of that. This could work out perfectly fine. And that's great. I'm just saying right now, at this moment, they are two strangers that got married and it's awkward. Like it's supposed to be. It should be. Like, I'm not saying anything out of the ordinary. I don't feel. I'm not saying they're doomed. I'm saying they're here. And I don't see the perfect match spark, if you want to say that.
Okay. You said some words.
Because
what I want to say is, you are giving off that you think they're just going to be friends.
like you're like everything that you just said made sense, but
what you just I wouldn't be arguing with you if what you just said was what
I'm just reading into what they're saying, and what they're saying is not I can't wait to be this guy for the rest of my life. What they're saying is like, I met this great person, which means it could work out or it could not. I feel like what Asia is seeing is like, oh, they love each other. They're meant to be together forever. I don't see that at all.
Either one of those things.
That's fine. I said that it felt like friend language. I'm not saying they have decided that they're going to be just friends. I feel like it's friend language, a lot of it.
Listen, I think we're both taking what both of us are saying to the extreme.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, listen, I feel like your pushback to what I'm saying, which I feel is normal, is giving me the feeling that you're like all about them.
No,
Facebook
I would
group. Let the Facebook group decide, because we have 3 other couples we got to do.
I know.
We're an hour into this thing. We only got one couple.
Oh no, y'all didn't know. We're just talking about Lauren and Orion this episode.
This is the Lauren Orion.
Because we still do. We need to touch on that. We got the amazing this season on, which we're waiting for because it gives us a sign. We saw every
parts of the
before
season.
The honeymoon was weird. Like,
but
yeah,
I think
will be like there's different steps of this season on.
Right. Yes. Yes. I think it's, for one, it's because like all the couples have met now, so they want us to like, okay, now that they've seen each other, now you can see what's going to happen in the first little bit of the season. So one thing I did notice with Lauren and Orion, yes, we got them kissing. We got
I was like, yes,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was a great kiss.
Intimacy.
It
yeah.
Was. We got the uphill and then the
the thing about this conversation, because there are even articles already. Orion accuses Lauren of cheating. Just when I was trying to find his LinkedIn, so He's like, he doesn't feel comfortable with the fact that she did sleep with someone, and she said, I did. And then she feels like she's like, what more can I say? We see her crying, and she's like, he says he feels heartbroken. She's like, there's nothing left that she can do because she's showing like that she's showing, I guess, what, not remorse, but
remorse. Yeah.
I think she did say remorse. Okay. My thing is, did y'all notice that she had the same hairstyle in this, the whole argument?
That whole argument.
Every part of this. It gave me what's the name? Olajuwon and Katina with the him being on the dating app, where that was blown up like, oh my gosh, who is that? What is that? Right? And it was one argument and then they moved on. It was never a thing.
Right.
I feel like there are several different settings where they're talking about this. They're talking about it when they get back from the honeymoon, because I feel like in one of those shots, they're like, Orion's on the couch and he's like, I feel heartbroken. I feel like that's when they're like talking to an expert or something. So I feel like this is even after the honeymoon. And I agree,
I definitely think it's after the honeymoon, but I did notice she had braids on the honeymoon. This was a natural hairstyle, and it looked like she had the same hairstyle. And even though they were in like the bedroom, they were at like in the kitchen area, they were on the couch. I got the same hairstyle. She doesn't strike me as someone who has the same hairstyle every day.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree, Asia. I think this is something that's going to happen, and Orion is going to blow it out of proportion. Like, I feel like it's something as if she knew she was doing this process, so she knew she was going to get engaged, and she slept with someone else at that point. So I think maybe to Orion's mind, it's like she's cheating, which I think would be blowing it out of proportion. Now, I did wonder if it was like an error situation where she had sex with someone when she, right before or right after she found out she was matched. But I did recall in the after party where they're talking about when the last time these people were intimate, and Lauren had mentioned she went on a trip when she found out she got matched, but she didn't do anything because she was at that point engaged. So it's not that close to the wedding. So I'm just wondering if it's something, right before she found out she got matched, if Orion thinks that's a betrayal because she at that point probably figured she's going to match with someone. I feel like it might be in that range, that lane of something. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Could it be, if it's not that, because I also think it could be that. Could it also be that she have maybe like was unfaithful in a previous relationship?
In the past, yeah.
Okay,
I was thinking
like
that
in past relationship, she slept with someone, and he's like, you slept with someone. We never do see him say you cheated, which makes me think it did not happen during this relationship that she's in with Orion.
Yeah, I think the last thing that has happened I think the last thing that's happened is that she had sex with someone wild after they met. Like, I think that's so I think the show wants us to think that, but I think
that feels off of the table. We can take that off the table.
Yeah, that's the last thing that has happened. Like, that definitely did not happen. Yeah,
I think the show definitely wants to imply that, which is
I think it's something that Orion will probably blow out of proportion. Almost like to reference your other show, Asia, like a Uche Aaliyah type situation, where that got blown out of proportion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I was like, okay, maybe it was a previous relationship.
Yeah, so it's something in those areas. I think it will. And here's the thing: we want to talk about the this season on. Some people did clock. We did not see Lauren and Orion getting ready for decision day, or
we didn't
entering decision day. But
there was another couple that was
yes. So I don't know. I forgot which couple it was, but we clocked it and said we didn't see them on decision day. We're worried, and then they did have a decision day. I want to say it might have been Nate and Stasha, but we have had this situation before. We were like, we didn't see them on decision day. Something must happen, and then they did have a decision day. So I'm not taking that as anything concrete that they split up before decision day or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a show trolling us, probably.
I'm just gonna hang on to the fact that was a very hot kiss. So
the honeymoon goes great. The honeymoon seems to go really well. It looks like it might be something like right at the honeymoon ending that really puts this into a tailspin, because she's like crying, and I don't know if that's Claire sitting there, but there's someone's suitcase right there as they're talking about. So it feels like it's like they're getting ready to leave the honeymoon. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and on after party, like Lauren and Claire talked about how like close they were too. And when Lauren was crying about her mom, like Claire started crying too. So like, And normally I don't like watching after party because you know sometimes they act like a little different. I'm like, Lauren kept it really respectful the whole time. So I don't know. She's very hard to reach. She's very good, very practiced, I would say. Claire didn't say too much. So I thought this was a pretty good after party to watch and not feel like I was spoiled on anything.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hope it's I hope it's just some lifetime editing shenanigans. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Because I really want them to make it. I truly do.
Yeah.
Listen,
So,
so do I. So do I.
mhm.
Hmm.
So real quick, we in previous seasons we have graded them 1 to 5.
Yeah.
5. This is going to be. Do we think they're going to be together through the reunion? So
Oh, to the
5,
reunion now?
or do you want to do decision day,
Show? I don't know. I was just
Jason?
I think we keep a reunion to see, like, because like in previous seasons, we say, well, a lot of people just say yes on decision day to
Just
more
to
time.
say yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
1 through 5. 5 being we think they're going to stay together, or we think they're going to stay together. 1 being we think they are absolutely not. So, Jason, what is your rating?
I'm gonna say a 2.
Of course.
Wow.
I just
Just
have to.
Mari.
Of course.
Wow. I'm gonna give them a 3 because that seems warranted. Everything started off great. It can go anywhere at this point.
Mhm.
Anything lower than a 3 is ridiculous. So that's
Okay.
it. That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right. I am also going to give them a 3.
Oh, restraint. Hello. I know you thought you were going to give him a 5. I was like, oh.
That's what makes me understand that you don't understand me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, boy.
So which couple do you want to talk about next, Jason?
We're gonna do Claire and Cameron. We come back to the wedding like we left off last episode. They're starting the wedding up. It was funny. Her parents walked her down the aisle. It almost like they were bringing her to a sacrifice. Like it almost like they were dragging her down the aisle.
My notes. Like I don't like how she's coming down the aisle.
Like you're gonna marry this man. You're gonna like it.
Exactly.
Get over there.
That was weird.
That's what it felt like. But so they have a nice introduction. They hug. They give the names. He tells her she looks breathtaking. So I was like, oh, he's good. She hears the accent. She's like, oh, your gift makes a lot more sense now. I was like, does it? Do you know what that thing is now? Like you didn't know what it was at all at first. Now it makes sense just because you hear the accent. I don't know.
Well, because she's not thinking like, oh, could he be from New Zealand? Like,
Right.
I don't think she would think that from the gift, but then now it's like, okay, there's something I don't know.
Yeah, so we get to Claire's friends and family want you to know. She is genuine, she is compassionate, she loves with all her heart. She has a bright personality. But she really loves you when she will start impersonating you to your face. She has a large, outgoing, and occasionally overwhelming family, but they will open their arms and hearts to you. But you don't feel welcome until you have survived the family roast. I feel like this is my family roast here on this podcast from Ari and Aysha. Let's see if I survive.
Still plenty of podcasts left.
Yeah. Cam's friends and family says he is a tall man with a great head of hair, but once you get to know him, you will find that he is just a tall man with a great head of hair. I really enjoyed the Cam friends and family. They're pretty funny. And his accent is the coolest thing about him, unless you like biking, because you'd better, because you're going to be surrounded by it all the time. He has a bike shop and he goes on bike trips constantly. Life with Cam will be an adventure. For her vows, she has a calm knowing that they're on the same team now. She believes God and her guardian angels are guiding her through this adventure, and they will do this together. Cameron's vows he takes promises seriously, and he knows he may not be ready to take this leap of faith, but will share himself and his life, but not his chocolate. And he will do the best to they do the normal. Oh, and he also says, and if this doesn't work, we can always blame the experts. I was like, oh, that's freaking hilarious. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they go through the normal vows. He can't get his ring on. Apparently, they got the wrong size for his ring. I think he even puts it like on his pinky finger instead of his ring finger, which was interesting.
He was really struggling there.
So we get to the kiss. He is extremely tall compared to her, so
tall.
it's very It's very bend down. They're going to need a back brace and a neck brace because she's going to be looking up and he's going to be bending down. All that, the wedding itself was very nice. All went well. So they go sit down. Interestingly, they also get to sit down inside. They are not forced to survive the frozen tundra.
I saw that. I said, when were the choices made? Like, were those other ones like they just occurred first, and they were like, "Wait, that was kind of mean. We did not." Need to do that.
They started to realize.
Maybe Emily pissed off production. They're like, you know what? We'll make her sit outside for get to know yous. In a confessional, Claire says that he is so adorable. He's tall. He's very handsome. He has a good personality. So she's very excited to know and talk to him more, and to just be in his presence more. He says he's relieved, and he clocks basically that he is the one calming her down these moments because she seems very terrified. In a confessional, he says he feels there's chemistry, and that if they were in a cafe together, they would be talking. If they were side to side, they just met in a cafe, and he can tell she is someone that wants to make this work. He pretty much explains to her his citizenship. His mom was born in Ohio, so he is a dual citizen, which kind of clears up, like, how did you get over here if you just were trying to work in a bike shop? What kind of visa was that? But he's a dual citizen, so it's fine. He tells her about how his mom's roommates, friends, brothers, sisters, aunt took him in. Yeah, neighbor gave him a job and a place to stay 9 years ago. So he's been here ever since. She asks him if his parents know. He doesn't really answer the question directly. He's like, yeah. We'll go over there to New Zealand and have a second wedding. It's like if you're fine with that, if you're down with it. She seems to be cool about it. He asked her about the memorial that was at the wedding for her brother. She explains she is a quadruplet, but her brother passed away 4 years ago, and she feels like he helped orchestrate this for her from heaven or wherever. I was like, okay, nice cop out. Like, hey, bro, you screwed me over if it doesn't work out. She lets him know.
I thought it was sweet that he asked though. Like it was he asked it in a very delicate way that it was like, oh, that was perfect way to get more information because he wasn't aware. So I was like, good on you, Cameron.
Right. Yeah, he went about this very well. She lets him know that her sisters are going to grill him, ask a lot of questions. They are very protective and in your face. Yeah, this is probably editing, but at this moment he just has this scared look on his face, like, oh my God, what do you mean? Grill me. So after they do that, they take all their pictures. In a confessional, she says she's giddy and excited. He is everything she pictured, but just taller. We get into the reception. They have the first dance. It's a little awkward because he's so tall. In a confessional, he says he can tell she's nervous, but he hopes that she realizes that she's in good hands soon and will be more relaxed. In a confessional, she says he's making her feel comfortable and thinks the experts made a great match and feels like they're going to be in it for the long haul. See, this is the type of language that I like. Like, the
this is typical language you hear, though. Yeah, what are you talking about? Textbook language.
We're going to be in it for the long haul. That means we're going to be married forever. Like, that's what that means. Not like, he's a great person.
Yeah, they mean it. Yep.
I'm glad the universe brought me him. Okay, the long haul is better. Like,
I'm glad to get to know this person.
You are stop.
You are a piece of work.
Piece of work.
Yeah, piece of work.
Come on. But they talk about his.
You're saying it cheerier too. Like, Claire and Cameron are very flat affectation, both of them. So
I disagree with that. They talk about his biking. She says, I don't really mess with bikes. I don't really do bikes, but I do work out. He says, that's fine. We don't need to have the same hobbies. We can be together, but also stay individuals. She says that, she likes that he has hobbies because she's been with men that don't have any. And that means they're clinging to her. And she also has, I've been with a bunch of guys that are unstable and codependent. And he says to her, seems like that's the type of people you would attract. I was like, oh, okay. Talk about sticking your foot in your mouth. And he does say, he's like, well, that kind of came out wrong. He says, it's because you're so attractive. And, she's like, oh, I'm glad you think I'm attractive because I'm attracted to you. And he says, on the surface, this seems like this is really going to work. Very complimentary language. There's something about this season I like. Everyone seems attracted to the other people. We don't get a whole bunch of I asked for this and they did not give me what I ordered. Yeah. We don't get that with any of the couples. So I think that's a
good.
rare thing from Married at First Sight.
Yeah, it's like the attraction thing is out of the window for like all four couples. Like we know that won't be the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so be what's on the inside.
Which we love. We love when that happens.
It's like, well, attraction can grow, I guess. Like, no one is saying that.
Mindy or God, yeah. We're already off to a good start here. I feel like.
Everyone's down the clown immediately. It seems like so.
But
so we're good.
Claire is so funny to me because, like, I get deadpan from her, and she's like, yeah, I don't like to ride bikes, like, and it's always funny to me because, like, when her family says, oh yeah, Claire is it's fun and has a fun personality, I'm always like, is it in the room with us right now, that fun personality? Like, that's Claire, like, pumpkin spice girl, like, I'm so fun and quirky, and then like, and I don't mean it as like I don't like Claire, but Claire is just like,
she's giving you nothing so far.
Very basic.
Yeah, definitely.
And her, like, the highlights in her hair are so like mid 2000s. I'm not coming for Claire.
Sounds like you are.
I'm not coming for Claire. Comes for Claire. I'm not coming for Claire.
That's not what I'm doing.
I'm not coming for her. But like you said, yes, she gives me nothing. And so with her and Cameron here, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, this is like a good match. And this is starting on a good level, and it can go either way. When we met her first and then him, I was like, I don't know. Like I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna match up well. But they're here and they do both seem committed. Like they said, they're both attracted to each other. So I like the dynamic. That short and tall thing though, like how tall is he? Like how tall is he?
Gotta be over 6 foot.
It has to be. And then she's 5. She says she's 5 nothing. I'm like, I wonder if that's going to be a thing because that height differential is.
Because even when they were slow dancing, he couldn't naturally reach her like lower back.
Oh my God! It looked like a father-daughter
They had to find that sweet spot to get to the right configuration.
His arms straight down or on her shoulders.
It's just, yeah. But no, I actually said all that to say that I actually have like high hopes for them. Like I think they can do it depending.
Yeah. In confessional, he says most of his life has been him against the world. I was like, wow. I didn't really get any of that from anything previous from Cameron. So like, I need to hear more about why it's you against the world. My God, I mean, did you run from New Zealand? Like, was there people chasing you away from New Zealand? Why are you really here, Cameron? But she says, but his goal is to build a life with his wife and become a new organism. She talks about how many. And this was something
he just needed to hear him more.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the groove. Something interestingly meta that she was like, my sister had a wedding. She had 400 people here, but I had to really cut down the guest list for this thing here, for this Married at First Sight wedding, because they won't let me invite all the people I want to invite because they give us these small ass venues. I feel like that was like a dig at production. Like, invite all I want to invite. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it looks like they have 20 people.
He talks about how his people in the US have helped him so much, and he's the type of guy that looks for someone that he feels like that his people there in the US have made him into the man that he feels like she wants, or just someone that values family. When we get to the family grillings, her family grills him, and he's like, he tells the sisters, yeah, your mom, she really freaking loves me. Like, she is down for me 100%. Like, she loves me. And that was weird. I was like, that's quite a thing to come out and say like that. And he also talks about, how he has excelled academically. And her sister is like, brushes his shoulder off. And of course, he doesn't understand the reference. So he's like, something on my shoulder, like, what's up? And it's just like, no, you're talking so big about yourself. You're talking about how you're good at this, you're great at that. What did you guys think of how complimentary he was being to himself?
I mean, it was just this was funny. Again, awkward, very weird. Claire didn't seem to mind it on the after party.
I felt like he was doing his best to make a good impression, and it came off as a little braggy.
He's like, don't worry, I already got the mom's approval.
I'm good. Like, me and mom's is good, so you guys can be good with me too. I already got her approval, so you can just approve of me already. Okay, cool, good, we good. All right, I'm out.
We good.
I mean, she built up so much, these sisters, so I'm sure he's just trying to find anything that will get him that approval.
Yeah,
like, see, your mom likes me, so we're good. So she brings him to her grandma Gigi, and they have a nice little conversation with Gigi. She gives them some advice, like, try not to argue, don't do the one-upmanship. It's better to walk away than argue.
That was bad advice.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gigi.
Stand your ground. Argue all night.
I was like, I cannot wait to ask my married counterparts, Jason and Mari, what they thought about that advice.
Look, it's good advice in practice.
Don't talk about it. Like, what?
It's good advice in practice to not argue, but in reality, like, that's not.
If she meant like don't argue, but like have discussions, then yes. But you can't just like don't argue, just walk away. Like that solves nothing. Like now you're both just mad separately.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta argue. Sometimes arguing is what you need to get it out.
At least discuss. Like at least have a discussion.
And Gigi says they seem well suited for each other, and it's a nice little meeting with Gigi.
She was sweet. I was glad that she was glad that they came. They made it a point to come say hi to her.
Yeah, Cameron does come off. He doesn't come across as awkward. He comes across as like he's a personable guy. Like he's like bantering with Gigi. He's like wisdom. Just wise. You got wisdom. Yeah. Like he's good.
This is where I particularly noticed it. I was like, wait, I've noticed this on multiple occasions so far this episode, and then I kept looking for it. Have y'all noticed that Cameron is a little uncomfortable with the cameras? He's always like,
I wouldn't say that.
He's like he's always slightly looking for them. So like, even the most noticeable part is at the end, they did this like really weird close up of them when they were leaving. And he like looked directly into the camera. But then I was like, wait, that's not the first time I've noticed it. I noticed it with Gigi. He just kind of like was like looking. So it's not like he's uncomfortable, but I think he's still adjusting.
He's just aware.
Yeah, he's very aware of the camera.
Now you're gonna have to watch that.
Something interesting I did clock when it was back in Lauren's thing when Lauren was talking to her family. I saw a crane in the back with the camera on it. And we don't really see that a lot. Like the behind the scenes very first. I thought it was so interesting. Like it had a camera like on a crane just taking group pictures. Like that was interesting. Yeah. I don't even think about things like that, but I saw that in the background. Like that is weird. That must be weird.
You just assume like a cameraman is there, like,
exactly. Like it must be weird to be at a wedding where there's just
this is production.
Yeah. Where's like a camera crane just running around. Yeah. But I did notice Cameron also cuts Claire off a lot. And it's something that gets mentioned in the coming up this season on for them as well, where they're having like a conversation and he cuts her off. She's like, see, and you keep cutting me off. And I did notice it when they were speaking at the table and she was talking, he would just like kind of talk over her a little bit, not meaning to be, but I think the excitement of it did that as well. But something I did notice a little bit. But he does tell her that he's pleasantly surprised by how excited he is to get to know her. She is pretty. He can see them working in the long haul and can't wait to travel with her, to buy their first car. I think I actually said this like a professional. To buy their first car, to get to buy a dog together and share a life. And he says that she is everything he wants in a wife, as far as he can tell. And they leave the wedding wheeled out on a bike, of course, because in case you didn't know, Cam owns a bike shop. So yeah, that was Cameron and Claire. In the after party, one of the things that she did say is one of his friends told her that he can be unemotional. I said, okay, that's interesting. We also heard about her older sister that did not want to come because of the cameras, but wrote her a nice letter in support, and she got pretty emotional about it. So that was a little interesting. I mean, I don't know if you were invited to a Married at First Sight wedding, would you go knowing you're on a camera?
Oh, I'd go and sit in the front row. I
already my reaction shots.
I already told my brother-in-law that I want him to apply if they ever come to Philly because I want to be the skeptical family member.
Are you sure this is gonna work? You don't know this person.
Yep. We were just talking about it this past summer. At the last family family event. So yeah, I'd be there with bells and whistles on.
Listen, I like the Cameron and Claire vibes. I think they're well suited after the meeting each other. Because I like Mari. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go when they met each other, but I like the vibe that I got from them.
Yeah, I think it could be very easy for them.
They could be the boring couple for sure.
Yeah, like I think it's gonna take a lot for them to have disagreements. Maybe like I think that they would take the Gigi approach. So they could disagree, but it's just like, okay, it's better to just not.
I could see them falling into a Brett and Ryan situation. Where they're boring, but they don't like each other.
Ooh, there you go. When I see them, like all I can think about is what I'm sure is going to be a Christmas card with Claire's whole family in the living room of Claire's family's house, and there's like all the family there and matching pajamas. Like that's just what I picture when I think about like of Claire specifically. I feel like that's the Christmas card every year is them in front of the tree with all the presents and they have matching pajamas on.
And then now he's gonna be a part of that party.
Yeah, I still think there's going to be something with maybe a religion aspect that may trip them up a little bit.
It's possible
because we have gotten no indication from Cam about whether he's religious or not, but we know for a fact that she is very religious because she says,
"Oh, really?"
Every episode about God and guardians, angels. She prayed for this, so she says it a lot. She says she has said it every episode. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a clash of any sort. I think the biggest thing in this season on was he's asking her if she sees a future with them, and she won't really answer, and that's where he keeps cutting her off. She gets upset. I think there's multiple shots of her crying at different times. So we'll see what brings upon what happens there.
Yeah.
But do you want to do ratings of Asia? What you got?
I think for them, it is too hard to tell. I'm not overwhelmingly optimistic, but I'm not like, ooh, this ain't it. So I think I'm gonna have to go with a 3 with them too.
Mari?
Yeah, I agree. A 3. They can literally go either way. They're in a good sweet spot of where you want to be on your wedding night. So
yeah, hit them on a 3. 3's across the board.
I was about to say, I thought Jason was like a 5. They are destined.
They are locked in
greatness.
No, I like the vibes, but not crazy. Not crazy about them like that.
Okay. So next, let's talk about Becca and Austin. They're a very popular couple.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my Austin cosplay on. All right. There we go.
If I had known we were doing props, I would have grabbed mine.
Boom. Hello, fellow kids.
I thought your hair was kind of short, but it's kind of poking through the hat.
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing. There you go.
You have a little curl situation
going through. Curling over it, yeah.
Yeah. So Becca and Austin, they seem to be, I think it's more so Becca that in this dynamic that they're getting a very good reception. I feel like I feel like people are about them, and I think it's largely due to Becca though. Like put Austin with a Claire, and
yes, Becca definitely brings it out of Austin.
Yes,
what little there is that is brought out of Austin is only there because of Becca. I feel like I feel like if Claire was there, like you said, they would be probably pretty silent, pretty quiet, pretty awkward. Like I feel like Cameron brings out things in Claire, and Becca brings things out in Austin in these.
Yeah. So they take their their wedding pictures, and Becca feels really weird not being the one to direct the picture, but she's still telling people, okay, hands in pocket over there, okay, behind me, hands, okay, but just don't listen to me.
Not the butt.
Yeah. So she couldn't help herself trying to direct the pictures. We get a confessional from Austin. He's like, look, she seems so open and so funny. He seems very pleased. Becca has learned, she has 3 things that she's learned as a married woman so far. Number 1, make out often. Number 2, make out often. And number 3, think your husband's hot.
Have y'all ever seen those videos where a guy and his dog watch like dog videos with other owners, and they're like, and then he looks to the dog like he wants to do it with the dog, and the dog's like, mm-mm. That was me and my
Oh
wife.
yes,
And I was
I've seen
like,
that.
she's like, here's the things you gotta do when you're married: make out often, and think your husband's hot. I turned to my wife, she's like, don't even think about it. I was like, all right, all right,
You're like
cool.
from a fellow married woman. This is great advice.
She's like, well, they just got married today. We married for over 10 years. Like,
Right.
it ain't the same.
Yeah.
Rude.
So we think, or we think we get them at their like sweetheart table at the reception, and so he's like, your dress looks wonderful. I mean, it's definitely. She's like, okay, I know what you're saying. I told my family, or I told them, like, you have no choice to be like a boobs guy or a butt guy.
And they're already reading each other's minds because he really didn't even say anything. She's like, yeah, I understand. He's like, yeah, you get it. Like,
that dress looked banging on her. Like, that was a great dress. Like, I liked how flowy it was.
Mhm.
Normally I don't really like wedding dresses with sleeves on it, but that one looked nice. It was like she was like a Renaissance fairy princess or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think it fit her well. And so
Very
like, and
cute.
even the style, like her
Mhm.
the style of it. They find out they have a lot of stuff in common. They both roller skate. They both are slightly allergic to cats. They're like, we just married ourselves.
Can we run a 23andMe in here and make sure we're all good, make sure we're not
Is she in a
on the family
Coloradian?
tree? I don't know. I need to make sure we're not on the same limb of family tree or something. Like,
No,
Yeah.
Our Father.
yeah, oh yeah.
Happened.
Me and Mario know about that. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. It'd be awful. She said this is like they just talking about like how different this is from like a typical first date from like an app or something. They're like, this is a first date on crack, because it's different that, you know, you don't have the typical first date situation because y'all are married, but this is your first date. She gets with his friends, and she feels like he's very authentic and cute, and in regards to the wedding night, she says she feels like, or she thinks that she'll just do like what feels right. He's with the bridesmaids, and they're like, just so you know, she's constantly going to be touching you. She's very sex positive. Buckle up, buddy.
I love the friends and family after they've definitely had a few.
Yeah.
They're spilling all the tea on their person, whether they want them to or not.
Mm-hmm. And so,
and
go
I
ahead.
think on After Party they were asking him like how he felt in that moment with her friends, with them giving him advice, and he's like, they're like, you look terrified.
And on the whole, like the whole after party, he's like, yeah, no, it was fine.
Yep.
And then doesn't like you say anything else. Like, oh, it was fine. I looked at it, but I was good.
Yeah.
Did you get kudos for him for like actually growing out the beard on After Party?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I cannot abide by this 5 o'clock shadow that he had during the wedding. It was a problem for me, as I said.
So he had a fuller beard on After Party.
He let it grow out like as he should have for the wedding, probably.
As he should have. Oh, that's funny. And so let's see. So his friends tell her that he loves to start projects and not end them. So they'll be surprised if he comes home and it's like a bunch of newspaper everywhere.
So what projects are we doing? Are we doing paper mache or something?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, he'll stop in the middle of projects. What projects?
He's like, I was making pottery and I couldn't finish.
Like, was it 5th grade putting the paper mache on the balloon or whatever?
Yeah.
Paper mache projects you back in the day. Newspaper. What are we using newspaper for nowadays?
Yeah. Make sure things stay clean. He hopes they spend. He says that he hopes they spend all night talking and playing N64. And she's talking to her friends, and she says medically she doesn't feel ready to like do anything more tonight.
Yeah.
When do you think this conversation is gonna pop up as to what her issue, what her medical issue is?
Probably at the bedding.
At the bedding, yeah. Before we do the bedding, I need to talk to you about something.
The bedding. I
Before
don't
you
know.
formally bed me.
So we
Exactly.
did get on the next time on, which we didn't really. There weren't any call outs
There was
for
almost
Claire and
no
Cameron.
there were almost no drama for Becca and Austin.
Right.
Except for probably what you're about to say, Asia, where like he's
She's
saying,
crying. Well, I was saying she was crying, wasn't she?
well, he said, when I think it was a whole group thing where he's like, this issue is something that could, if we don't address it, could tear us apart or something.
Gotcha.
And she's also saying, I think she might be crying on the couch, but he at the same time is like, comforting her and rubbing her arms and things. So, that was the only bad thing we got from them. So I think this couple might like just sail down the 8 weeks and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so rooting for them, like very hardcore. Yeah. I did not realize how like goofy and how on her level that Austin is, because like Austin that we're getting at the after party is what we saw in all
with his parents and yeah.
But now him with her, she just brings that side out of him. And at first I was kind of worried, not this episode, but last episode when she was being very direct and directing him around. I was like, oh my God, is he gonna get like sick of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is she gonna overpower him with her personality? Because she has a very, very big personality. But I don't think as this episode went along, I was like, oh no, he likes it. He likes having to match her energy, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect type of person he needed. Like, again, this is what Brett and Ryan should have been, but like Ryan was so low key and even killed, and Brett was so low key and even killed that they couldn't bring out that fun side to each other. So I think Becca is just eccentric enough, just fun enough, and they have all the same hobbies that she's bringing out this goofy side of Austin. It's really cute.
So I think that was all that we got from them. Yeah, that was all we got from Becca and Austin this episode.
She had an interesting conversation with his roommate. It's like, he'll be fine. He does the trash. He does the recycling. I thought it was just fun. She's like, I might forget how to do those things because he's gonna be gone. I thought it was very very fun and interesting. So it's no
she's
like
I'm so dependent on him.
It's like whenever you need him, just let me know. Like you can have him. Like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, Mari, what are you thinking in terms of your rating?
Yeah, Becca and Austin. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give them a 5. I think we normally have at least one couple on the wedding day that we give 5s to, and I think especially with nothing on the next time on to be like worried about, and just their energy.
In case if you're watching the video, I have put up the picture.
Asia, Mama watching will be so mad at you for not having these couples up.
Guys, my mom personally requested that we continue the pictures, so I'm trying here.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like them to get that dress. Fits her to a T. That was a perfect choice for a dress for her. 5 o'clock shadow, not so much, but
5 o'clock shadow in all black suit.
Throwing it off, man. It really is. But
yes, Asia is all black. Like what colors do you see here, Asia, on the suit?
It's not my eyes.
It's
the TV.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, so you're fine here.
That is a very sharp all black suit, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but for your wedding, I don't know. That was weird.
Sharp.
Would it have just been better if it was a different color, maybe bow tie or different color shirt?
Shirt, yeah, shirt.
Okay,
different color. I think that would be better.
That's boring. I think he at least with him trying to do something different than the regular like black tie, white collar shirt. Like at least he tried something different, like the black on black, as opposed to everybody's like, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna do the blue. I mean, it's just like everybody does the blue. Like
it kind of gives me going to a funeral. It gives me funeral. Like, I don't know.
Well, Mari, did you say you're rating?
Yeah, I said sorry. I said 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, a 5.
Why not?
Well, I'll shock you even more. I'll give him a 5 too.
I was quoting Hisam.
A 5, yeah. Wow, a 5.
Wow, a 5. Yeah, okay. I ain't picking up that first.
Too many round tables.
Yeah, if you watch Big Brother, that's the reference. Okay, y'all both gave them 5s. Yeah, I think I'm between a 4 and a 5, only because, like we said, when is that conversation going to have, or when are they going to have that conversation deeper about like her medical situation? And I think that'll show us a lot about how Austin will be able to handle that, whether it's be supportive or just be, having to process it and trying to figure out like what their future would look like. Taking that into consideration. But I think it's okay to start at a 5 and then I can go down. I can always go down.
You can always go down. Yeah. And I think I would be shocked if that, like, again, we don't know what her full medical situation is.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like
last week.
It seems like she could live a full life, right? It doesn't seem like it's incredibly limiting from what we've seen.
As somebody who had endometriosis as well, not as severe as her, like, because I don't need surgery, but like it's supposed to be, it should just be her recovery time, you know what I'm saying? But then she also has the autoimmune disease as well, right? So that is chronic, the chronic pain and stuff like that. That is what she's gonna have to deal with the rest of her life. She is gonna have days where she's really good and really hyper, like today, and then she's gonna have days that she's really down. But I think if like I'm coming to it and I saw her at her like high, and then see her at her low, I would be like, she's so strong. You know what I'm saying? I want to support her type thing. And they're strangers, so it's not like she's hiding it from him. She just hasn't told him yet. It reminds me of Jason, the couple from 90 Day the Other Way. What's her name? The lesbian couple. Chris
and Dempsey?
No. Chris and Jamie. Chris and Jamie.
Yes, that tire fire.
Yes, where Chris had chronic pain in her neck, and it said she was recovering from all sorts of types of illnesses, but never told Jamie.
She makes me look at her sideways, like,
love. She never. Her and Jamie were in a year-long relationship, and she never told her about any of her health problems until she got there, and then had to fly back to the States because of her health issues. So, I don't think it's a situation like that. And then, like, also in the Chris and Jamie situation, Chris was just always in bed. Like Jamie was saying, Chris was just always like, not being able to move, always felt bad and stuff like that. And Jamie wasn't prepared for it because, again, she's been talking to her for over a year and didn't know this is the thing. So I think with Becca and Austin, you say those vows, death do us part, sickness and health. So, exactly. Put it to the test, and
you said prove it.
Exactly. So I he seems like from what we've seen so far, he seems like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard because our real first impression was his mom's opinion of him. It was like,
now I'm just thinking his parents are haters. Like
haters.
I think they're haters. I think what the funny thing is that the reason why they think he's like, because I think she called him like immature, right? The funny thing is I think all the things that she called him immature, like, oh, you still like video games, you still do this, are all the things that Becca loves.
Yeah.
So I think it's hilarious. Like they were some straight up haters now. I can sense it now.
Yeah. So we all gave him 5. Wow, a 5 and a 5 and a 5. So Jason, last but not least, let's talk about Emily and Brennan.
Last was certainly not least, Emily and Brennan. Let me take off my Austin cosplay now. All right. My head tight. First of all, I cannot get with this no socks on the feet look. And you just got your bare ankles and calves out there. For men specifically, I think it's weird.
Don't forget the picture, Asia. Just let me help you out there.
There we go. I was like, bare sock. I was trying to remember. Oh wait, it's not in this picture. Dang it. But let me go ahead and pull that up for y'all.
It looks so odd to me. I don't know what it was.
Like suit and no socks is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Odd. He's like, you like the ankleless look? I was like, no, I don't.
Because it's literally, I mean, it's a thing.
Ankleless socks? Is that what it is? He doesn't. That's not.
I don't think he had any socks on at all. Like, it's
ew. That's
gross. So gross.
I hope those were his shoes and he didn't rent them.
But I don't know. He could be wearing like sock on. I have no idea. I have no way to really tell.
Nah. Always go with the cute, funny sock, guys.
Yeah. There you go. Something, but just the bare ankle, upper, like lower calf. No. Lower skin.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So yeah, they're getting all their pictures and everything done. And in confessional, she says it feels good and weird at the same time that she's a wife now. He says it feels surreal, hopes they can bond and say yes at D-Day, which I thought was interesting because I said, Brennan, aren't you the one I was like, we're staying married no matter what? Now you're like, I hope we say yes at D-Day. Like,
Right.
Okay. Are you worried already, Brennan? He
Mhm.
talks about how his parents set the bar high because they've been together for 35 years. And he hopes he has that with Emily. He's like, okay, and now you're just hoping. Before it was like, no matter what, until death do us part. And I was like, I hope so. I don't know.
Yeah, you want to talk about passive language, Jason?
Yeah, there you go.
Passive language all up and through here.
Very hopeful. Very hopeful. So we get to their reception. We had a little mixture of people that didn't know what the glass clinking was, people that did. We always talk about how are you surprised at what this glass clinking is. You should have watched the show because it happens every season. In a confessional, she says that she isn't sure if it's attraction or the energy of the moment, but she feels like they're on a path to really spice things up. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
She loves to spice things up. We're gonna learn. She introduces her friends to him, and it's very odd because they're at the table. And she's like, "That's my maid of honor. Those are the Park City girls." I'm like, "Okay, first of all,"
And then exactly like that.
Yeah, and then he comes out. He's like, "How old are they?" Why? Why do you want to know that? Why is that a question to you?
And they realize they didn't.
Yeah, and then that pivots to like, wait a minute, how old are you?
Yeah.
And then they do the thing you should never do, which is guess my age. Guess my age.
Oh God.
She guesses he's 32, and he's like, "Oh no, I get that all the no." What did she guess? She guessed he was 32.
Yeah.
But he's like, "No, I get that all the time. I'm actually 28." Like, you get that you look 32 all the time?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah.
He's been getting 32 for like 5 years.
Yeah. And he guesses she's 30, and she's like, "No, I'm 29." It's like, see, this is why you never do this. This is why you should never play this game. And then this whole thing, like, and then he's like, "So what do you drive?" She's like, "I drive a Jeep." And he's like, "Oh, I'm driving an Audi A4." Like, it seems like he only asks this question so that he can give her what he drives. Like,
Yep.
I drive an Audi A4, just nothing major, just an Audi. She's like, "Oh, that's great." She says,
Nailed it.
she's like, "Yeah, I'm a terrible driver, but I actually haven't crashed my Jeep. My dad's really surprised I haven't crashed my Jeep yet," which makes so much sense with what we see in this season on. That she crashes a snow, what you want to call those? Snow 18?
Yes, the snowmobile.
Yeah. I will say,
gosh. She did.
Oh, yes, that's
driver,
right.
But I also crashed a snowmobile.
Yeah.
It just got away from me. I was going, it slipped. I tried to overcorrect. Then I had to avoid a tree. And then we ended up in snow. Mm-hmm. All of my injuries were, which I'm thankful. I hit my mouth, and so I busted my lip.
Mm-hmm.
That injury that we saw,
blood pouring out of her head.
From her head.
Whoa! So I'm thinking that's what the cast is.
Yeah.
When we saw her in After Party, I think it was the first week. She had a pink cast on her hand, arm.
And if that's the case, she had real serious. Yeah, because it had to be a while, like months ago.
Yeah. So, wow, interesting. That was rough. Like, and just to, I guess, touch on the whole this season on, we do see a few different arguments between them for the season, but nothing crazy.
Walking out.
Yeah, a little. I can't believe you said that to me, and walk out. So yeah, nothing hugely major from them. But yeah, we do see the crash and the aftermath where like blood everywhere, which is
I was like, dang.
I don't know if y'all should be showing this on network television.
I know, that hurt to see.
Yeah, that was a lot of blood. That was a lot of blood. And her blonde hair just emphasized it too.
A mess, yeah. Oh man. So conversation about the bachelorette parties comes up. She says, "Did you have fun at your bachelor party?" He's like, strippers were there. It's not a big thing. How about you? She's like, "Oh, I was doing body shots off the strippers. My aunt told me not to, but I did." I said, "See, this is
white girl wasted.
Your white girl wasted." That's what she said.
And like Keisha Knight Pulliam said in the commercial break, which usually Rudy.
Oh, wait.
Usually I don't watch these because she's like, I mean,
Yeah,
she
they
just
get
started
me,
doing
though.
this.
They get me because I
Yeah.
fast forward and I'm like, oh, Rudy, and then I press play and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a commercial.
She's just recapping what just happened. And so I happened to catch it because I was like finishing notes for the previous section. And she's talking about this. She's like, I would have never said what she just said to like somebody I just got married to, which it's like, it strikes me as, because we know that Emily has never been in a relationship, right? And they say, her friends say she is just like quick to be like, no, like this, okay, don't like this, don't like this. And so what I'm thinking is like people that are so like what I've just witnessed with like people in life, it feels like when they are quick to judge someone based off things, they say stuff like this to just get a reaction. Because if he would have reacted negatively to this, she would have been like, I can't tell him anything. He's just so judgmental, which is just like, she's probably not thinking that deep, but it's just some like a behavior that has just continued where it's just like, I'm gonna just say this for shock value. Like, and I'm throwing it out there and we'll just see how you handle it. And if you don't handle it well, that's on you.
That's interesting because my thought from her is she, just like Jason is making her sound, she just it's really landing in that stereotype of like,
Well,
Jason.
No, I'm saying it's also giving immature. It's giving you're 29, but you're acting like you're 23. Like
exactly.
like you just legally were able to drink and you're going ham on it.
Going ham.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, with the whole I've never been in a relationship thing, I'm thinking like she doesn't let people in. You know, I'm not here to therapize people. Maybe if you have Sarah on in a few weeks or something like that, Dr. Sarah can go in on her. But I do feel like there's some underlying trauma thing here where she probably does not allow herself to open up to people emotionally in order to pursue like a relationship.
And then she deflects with this like cringe type of no filter humor that she thinks is she probably thinks is so cute, which might be what gets her ghosted constantly. You know?
But also like, I hate to say it because I don't know if this feels like sex shaming or anything like that, but she also kind of comes off as one of those people who's like, I'm okay with just having sex, like, you know, like being okay.
She says
with,
that
like,
literally later.
No,
yeah,
she literally said, she comes out,
like,
she literally said those exact
no
words.
emotion.
Yeah,
you know
but it's like not in on that
not
point.
In a bad,
it's like it's not a bad thing, right? Yeah,
she's sex positive, which is not a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right.
But
it can come off. It can come off a certain way.
The thing that I noticed was when I know we haven't got there yet, but when she's talking to his friends, she refers either his friends, she refers as sex with him as a hookup.
Yes, exactly. I was going to bring that up in that segment.
Emily,
sex with your husband is not hooking up. It's
not.
This is a serious committed relationship. I know you haven't had those, but we don't really refer to it as hooking up. Hooking up in and of itself, to me anyway, is not a 29-year-old word. It's an 18 to 23-year-old word to me.
Yeah. It just signals a type of detachment to the act of sex. You know what I'm saying? That I don't know. But she does feel like she's one of those person who's like quick to be like, it's just sex, is cool, I'll do that, but not as quick to like actually open up and give their heart to somebody.
Yeah.
And I hope she understands that and sees that and works on that, because you're married now, and in situations like this where it's like, if you let that physical barrier, you cross that physical barrier without making that emotional attachment in a situation where you're married already in this experiment, that could not be good. I'm trying to think of like all the couples that, maybe slept with each other the first night or on honeymoon.
Well, we say that a lot of times doesn't work out well. Like
exactly
when that quick. I think it was like a Michaela and Zach, maybe.
Michaela and Zach.
We could talk about
Haley
that
and Jake, Paige and Chris.
Well, with Haley and Jake, Haley was just trying to find anything to grasp onto.
If we do this, I'll change my mind.
Yeah, that was her thing. But all those other ones are like, I'm feeling so good. Let's rush into this. Like, let's do this. And they don't take the time to emotionally connect beforehand, like Mari was saying.
Yeah.
So,
Even
yeah.
Mitch and Kirsten as well too. I think they did it on their honeymoon.
Yeah, that was
And
like,
they were like using sex to like not argue.
yeah, that was a whole mess.
Mhm.
But she gives out all this TMI about the bachelorette party. He's like, yeah, he's like, she really seems like the life of the party, and I can appreciate that she says it's on her mind, and it's really nice right now. But he says it.
Okay, Jason, this is the tone that you're implying for Lauren.
Exactly.
This was the tone.
I feel like it's the same tone. The same tone.
No. This was the I'm being held hostage tone.
It was definitely more of a held hostage tone than Lauren had, for sure. This was like, I'm going to be very positive right now because it's the first day, but I'm seeing red flags. Like,
yeah.
So the friends ask him if she's living up to expectations. He says, "Yep, I really wanted someone fun and adventurous, and that's what I got." Yeah. They ask him why he's doing Married at First Sight. He's like, I've been in a lot of terrible relationships, and I left because it wasn't what I wanted, but I learned from them. He tells him his last relationship was 2 years ago. She talks to his friends, and she asks him, so what's the first impressions? He says, first impressions are good. We have questions. It's like, so this first relationship thing, what exactly does that mean? She's like, well, I just haven't had a serious relationship ever. She's like, I've had some hookups, but nothing serious. And she says, it's not a red flag or anything. I don't think you're the one to judge that.
Right.
Emily.
It could be. Strongly. Yes.
She says it's not a red flag because I have taken that time to focus on myself.
So that's why it's not a red flag.
That's why it's not a red flag.
Yeah.
Her friend asks if he is serious about. He asked her friends, like, what's going on with the no relationship thing, and they tell her, like, well, first he asks, have you ever met any of these not serious boyfriends? And the look on their faces is like, yeah, but I don't want to tell you because that's gonna drive you away. Like, they were some scrubs. Basically, she's got a bad picker. But they couch it. They say, yeah, no one was really worth her time, and as the friends have done, they kind of throw her under the bus a little bit. It's like, she is very honest and quick to cut something if it doesn't work for her. His friends ask her why she has
going into a marriage. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. She says, Emily says she just chooses herself all the time. That's why she has, she says she can have a boyfriend whenever she wants, but she's just chosen not to. Sure, Emily, sure. Just tell yourself that. The friends ask her, like, how are you going to handle marriage with no real relationship to really kind of look back on? She says, I don't know. I'm just, I'm sure that I can do this. I'm sure we'll just have to see, is basically her thing. Like, oh, that's not a good thing. And his friends, by ear. Yeah, we'll just do whatever. His friends like, well, he needs a really good listener because a lot of his relationships have crumbled because of lack of communication. And the whole time they say this, she has this look on her face. It's like, uh-oh, I am not a good listener. Like, she literally says that. She's like, yeah, it's interesting you say that because my mom says I need to be a better listener. It's like, oh man, the red flags are just a waving through this whole segment.
I particularly saw the face she made when he said, like, okay, past relationships, like not being a good texter was the reason it ended. And she's like,
yeah, she immediately
like, I'm not gonna be sitting there all day trying to text you back.
You want to talk to me? Oh my god. A clinger much? That is your husband, Emily. That is your husband. She wants to see me every day. I'm not about that.
Right. Okay, Virginia. She's not beating the Virginia claims.
No, not at all. She's fitting right in.
You might be Virginia to the nth degree, to be quite honest.
She is cosplaying as Virginia right now. So he asks her friends if they think she's ready to go all in. They say, yeah, but you have to be patient because she does have a short fuse. She hasn't really had to consider other people's feelings all the time, and she needs someone to pull her out of the world she's been in for 29 years.
And that's why they're asking you these questions.
Run, Brennan. Get out of there now.
Oh my god!
Uh,
Like, are you telling him he needs to teach her empathy? Like, what?
Bro,
Now
I
that
should
you
have to
did
come
it.
in here and teach you humanity. You should
Yeah.
already come that way. You should come prepackaged with humanity. You should say you're ready to be married. I
Oh
should have to
god!
insert that in there. She
Yeah.
she talks to his friends about the fact that she's attracted to Brennan, and this is where she says, nothing wrong with hooking up on the first night. We are married, so I'm down for sex. It's fine. And sometimes it's a good segue into the emotional stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know about
Mhm.
that. I don't know about that. She tells her friends it all feels good, so it feels too good to be true. She gets emotional. She says it's going so much better than I expected. They ask her about sex on the first night. She says, "I did bring handcuffs, but I forgot the key." And but he's all for it though, because his friends talk to him about like what she said about sex on the first night. He's like, "Oh, it's like okay, I should have you guys talk to her more often." So
Yeah.
it may be a match in that regard. Who knows? She
Which leads you
says,
back to what y'all just said.
Mhm. She says this experience has been mind blowing. She didn't expect to enjoy his personality so much and be so attracted. She's going to ride the wave with him guiding her and see where the night takes them as they are walking out of their reception. And that is them for this week.
Yeah. And on the after party, we got the exclusive preview of next week's episode, and we got their bedding.
We got the
So
betting.
yeah,
Mhm.
and they was rolling around in them sheets.
Definitely seems like something's gonna pop off the next episode. So let's do the ratings. Asia, what you got?
Yeah, it could go either way. She's my biggest concern in this relationship.
Yeah.
If that wasn't obvious. So I don't know. I could just see it's just a big concern. Like when if they get to anything difficult, like even just the storm outs we saw, I'm not trying to consider the next time on that strongly, but even just what we know about her, I wasn't surprised to see her storming off. So I'm gonna have to go with a 2.
Mari?
Yeah. This is gonna be boring because I too will give them a 2 because still only the first full episode of the meeting, so I don't think there's enough information to go lower than a 2. But what we're seeing here is like big yikes, and I feel bad for Emily because I thought that moment where she started tearing up and like the situation was really hitting her. I was like, oh, like we're seeing her, she still had the Valley Girl sounding.
It's a
throughout
second
this
of a
side.
trial.
Yeah. But it was still like cute to see that she was like it was hitting her,
Yeah.
But I'm scared I'm scared for them. I think they might be way too opposite. I think she is way too much of a partier, young at heart, and he is not it. He, no matter how
Just
much he tries to convince us.
just sliding right into that Eric and Virginia,
Yeah.
situation. Just
Yeah.
so perfect.
They are.
He might as well be a pilot.
Yeah. So I'm giving them 2. Yeah.
So for my rating, it also comes with an amendment for a different couple. I was too hard on Lauren and Orion. I admit that. I'm going to bump Lauren and Orion up to a 3 so that I can give these two a 2 because I don't I wouldn't feel right giving Emily and Brennan a 2 and making them at the same level as Lauren and Orion because Lauren and Orion are definitely better than these two. So I will make my Emily and Brennan 2 and amend my pick of Lauren and Ryan. I'll make them a 3 because they definitely not at the level of Emily and Brennan. Because Emily and Brennan, but I'm not going to give it a 1 because I did see some compatibility in these two. But I just feel like down the line, her, attitudes, behaviors are going to be a problem for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
So I can't give them a 1 because I did see some facets in which they could get along, they can be compatible. But I'll give them a 2 and say,
what would be amazing? We just see this huge growth arc for her I'm like, remember beginning of the season? We were
It's
like,
not really Married at First Sight's forte is growth. It's mostly I am this way and I'll stay this way and I will clash with you in your way. Like,
if anything, I'm gonna double down.
yes, that's typically the Married at First Sight way. Is not growth.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it's unfortunate,
Not a
but
lot of
that's
growth journeys. This is
Yeah.
Survivor. This is Married at First Sight.
17 seasons, and we have very similar. It's so funny that now we can easily compare a lot of these couples to past couples, and knowing the outcomes, like beat the odds, okay?
Please, right?
Off
Surprise
season,
us.
off season might have to do our archetypes of Married at First Sight, like they used to do
Ooh,
back in the
nice.
day for Survivor. That'd be
Oh,
interesting.
archetypes, yeah, because I mean, I'm sure you can draw comparisons. It's just they're probably. If we think about the 5, because it's what 3 to 5 couples per season, 17 seasons. I'm not doing that quick math, but the amount you could probably find 10 variations of the types of couples you're gonna get. So,
Easy.
anywho, thank you so much, Mari, for joining us.
Of course. I'm so glad to be on here, even if I have to
So much
muscle
fun.
my way on to the podcast.
We want you on. I'm trying to give you time to catch up. We know you like early.
Usually you want to come on during the honeymoons, but you got us off early.
I did. Yes, I like to come early and then at the very end. That way I can give up on the middle and just listen to you guys when everything settles down and is boring. So
I wish I could do that sometimes. Just listen to us.
You guys are doing a great service to all of us out here. So keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, this I'm so excited to go on this journey of this season with you guys. This cast is amazing. And then we get to hopefully see Michael's second bride too on top of all that. So
yeah, this preview.
Thank you for having me on anytime. Again, if something real crazy happened in the middle of the season, I might have to,
right.
I have to be like, let me get on there. So,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for having me. I had so much fun. This is amazing.
Yeah. So where can people keep up with you and hear what you're doing?
Yes. So follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. I'll post everything there. Coming up, we will be starting our coverage on Rap Shit, Max's original content, and you can find that over on the Connect. You can find the Connect at postshowrecaps.com/connect, where you can also find all of our other coverage that we wrapped up. The Changeling, me and Aysha did the other Black girl over there. So if you haven't checked all of that out, you can go and check that out. And if you want to go back, we covered Insecure and Atlanta as well. So Insecure is on Netflix now. So if you're doing an Insecure rewatch, you can go and listen to us talk about season 5.
I just finished an Insecure rewatch.
It's so
literally
good.
Last weekend. Yeah. It just felt so good. I was like, I have to do this every couple years.
Exactly, like to refresh your soul and stuff.
Yeah.
So come hang with us over on the Connect. And then me and Matt will eventually come back over on Wrestling RHAPup. So before then, you can catch up if you want to go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed as well. But every Tuesday, me and Sarah Carradine, the wonderful Sarah Carradine, another great guest on this show, bring true crime to RHAP with our Crime Scene podcast, where we do true crime review shows. So we just dropped we watched FBI True with Kimberly from A Date with Dateline. And it's like, it's on Paramount Plus. It was on Paramount Plus. They released like all of these episodes on Paramount Plus. And then once the strike happened, they started like releasing them on like TV, and they put them together to make it like an hour show. But it's basically like a procedural, but what they do is they have the FBI officers who are talking about the cases sitting around with beer, like they're being interviewed by each other. Like it's not like an interviewer like on Dateline or anything like that. It's cops interviewing cops, which sounds kind of crazy, but they do some like well-known cases like the Boston Marathon bombings, and then they do some cases that you might not know about, like the Manhattan bomber, or so It's very interesting. We covered it this past week. So if you are interested in true crime, yes, Rob has a podcast, has a true crime podcast. You can go to Rob has a website.com/crime feed over there. And that's it for me. Yeah.
That's it.
That's all. Just
She's
a
just a
scroll.
busy woman.
Not as busy as some people.
Make sure, yes, y'all go make sure you follow Mari. Jason, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Twitter at JAYR1085. Yeah, that's it. As far as podcasts go, all my other podcasts are on post show recaps. I'm doing a few different shows right now. I'm doing Loki with Sasha Joseph. I'm doing Invincible with Gia Worthy. I am doing Gilded Age with Marissa Garza. And coming up, I will be doing Lawman Bass Reeves with Chappelle, at least the premiere. We'll talk about that. Yeah, those are all my projects, my shows. So check me out there if you are into any of those shows.
Lovely. Love to hear from a full-time podcaster. Y'all can find me anywhere on social media at Aysha like Asia. That's AYSHA like ASIA. And yeah, you can find me right here every week talking about Married at First Sight. And then if you want any dog content, we've been a little slow on TikTok, but there's plenty of TikTok stocked up for you. If you have never seen the Spice Girls TikTok, go Malshy Poo Sisters, and there's plenty of TikToks for your enjoyment. So yeah, go give them a follow. I'll tell them they need to start posting again, but they've been a little lazy. But thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We'll be back next week to talk about episode 4. So until then, we'll see y'all next week. Bye.